Don't you just wish there was a car out there that could conquer the dirt, the dunes, the track, even a freaking frozen lake, but still be able to legally drive it on the street? If you look at the history of do-it-all vehicles, they often tend towards making design compromises rather than achieving the best of multiple worlds. But there's one company out there making cars that don't only do it all, they do it all very, very well. If you took your childhood go-kart and it made sweet love to a trophy truck, and then that creation then made sweet love to a motorcycle, you'd have this. And today, we're gonna figure out how the engineers over at Sierra built one of the coolest and most versatile vehicles of all time. They did a sub 10-minute Pikes Peak run in this thing. Then they could have swapped out the wheels and freaking jumped this in the dirt. If that doesn't tingle your freaking car-loving bones, then you must be a jellyfish. Don't be jelly, get bony. Let's go.
Check out the all-new donut sticker pack. 5 of your favorite donut designs ready to stick anywhere. And I mean anywhere. They stick to your bumper, your window, your laptop, a water bottle, a lunchbox, your lock's bunch, your best friend's back. Slap the beans on some beans. Put Yoda's tacos on a taco. RIP on some pop-ups. Slap your love for donut anywhere you want. Go to donutmedia.com and grab your pack today. And that's not all. We got a new hat. I'm wearing it. Next time you're off-roading out in the sticks, don't get lost. Find yourself with this all-new Find Yourself donut hat for just $24.98, which is so much cheaper than $30. And hurry up, because this merch is insano style and it's gonna sell out quick. Donutmedia.com, go now.
Trying to drive on different terrains can make wildly different demands on both the car and the driver. You need a totally different set of tools to drive on asphalt, dirt, or ice. So how does Sierra car and their RX-3 dominate each of these surfaces? Well, the answer lies in the sum of its parts, as well as the very light weight of all those parts. Power to weight ratio is a big part of what makes this car so versatile. Let's start with the weight, which is largely dictated by the frame. The RX-3 is super lightweight because it is a tube frame chassis. Now, road cars are going to be a lot heavier because of their frame. Even the lightest cars out there made with an aluminum alloy frame will weigh more than anything on a tube frame chassis. The total weight of a super light car like a Lotus Elise is going to come in at about 2,000 pounds. The overall weight of the RX-3 is a mere 950 pounds. That is super impressive and a major part of the overall agility of the vehicle. Now, weight was kept to a minimum by utilizing finite element analysis, or FEA. Oh, that brings me back to the days of college. Oh, you gotta do an FEA analysis on this friggin' pin. We had to design pins in school. The Sierra team was able to run stress simulations on 3D modeled components by simply applying computerized forces to certain surfaces. The geometry and overall design of the RX-3's parts are such that the car stays as light as possible while still retaining the necessary strength needed to resist strain or deformation. You don't know about strain and deformation? Cool, those are 2 big words you're gonna learn in college maybe. Strain is the ratio between deformation and the original length. Deformation is a measure of how much an object is stretched. That being said, this frame makes for an incredibly sturdy and responsive environment to cradle the driver. The frame is rigid and maintains its ability to transfer vibrations to your butt. Now that obviously doesn't make for the most comfortable everyday driving, but those vibrations, being able to feel what's going on underneath you, is what allows you to make the right decisions at the right moment. Like not hitting this prairie dog crossing the street while you're doing a Pikes Peak run. Now, whether you're on dirt or asphalt, being able to feel and respond to your environment is key. Adding to the lightness of the car, they ditched the doors. Other than being a mechanically fun aspect of a car, not having doors, having to slide through the window, it also serves a purpose. If your goal is to shed pounds, one way to do that is by removing not only the doors, but all the hardware and hinges associated with it. They save 10 pounds per door by doing that. And that might not seem like a lot, but on a 950 pound car, that's 2% of the weight. So finding 2% throughout the car helped make this a sub 1,000 pound vehicle. But the next part of that weight to power to ratio is the power part. That's the fun, okay? You guys know me, I'm a power bottom, so I like talking about low-end, grunty power. So when you're looking for an engine to power your lightweight Swiss Army knife of a car, where do you go? Well, you need an engine that also is lightweight, makes a lot of power, and as a bonus, I don't know, can rev up to 11,000 RPM. How do they go about doing that? Well, luckily, Suzuki already makes said engine. Sierra uses none other than the four-banger from the Hayabusa, the Peregrine Falcon itself, to power its crosscarts. Peregrine Falcon. Hayabusa in Japanese literally means Peregrine Falcon. A 1.3 liter 16 valve inline four capable of 200 horsepower. By pairing that engine with its lightweight frame, it gives the RX-3 a power to weight ratio of 4.6 pounds per horsey. The lower the number, the better. So for example, the GT3 RS, widely regarded as having one of the better power to weight ratios out there, comes in at 5.99. That's a $200,000 car. The RX-3, it costs 30 grand and it smokes it. Freaking heck yeah, man. And really, I don't want to distract too much from this, but the Pontiac 6000 LE comes in at a crazy 3.21. If you want to know more about power to weight ratios and why decreasing weight is important, click this right here. We did a whole episode on it. I promise you, you'll learn something, maybe even cry. Now, there's no question that the RX-3 engine is capable of putting out a lot of power, but that means it needs a transmission strong enough to withstand the abuse from the Hayabusa engine. And solution was found in a bulletproof racing transmission. 6-speed Sequential was implemented to send power to the wheels. Now, this transmission is a bit different than ones you'll find in most road-going cars. The gears in this guy are straight cut, meaning that the gearbox is less prone to self-destruct and the overall assembly is lighter than that of road cars with helical gears. The straight cut gears makes their gears stronger than their everyday driving helical counterparts. Additionally, the carburization process makes the gears harder at the teeth surface while maintaining strength throughout the part. Both the mechanical and material design choices make for gears that can withstand shifting at 11,000 RPM without snapping teeth off. And the transmission is not just tough, it's also smart. It's got a flat shift sensor which acts as shift assist, so you don't have to cut as much throttle when you go to shift gears. A sensor reads tension on the shift knob and then cuts the ignition for a gear change, so the driver can stay at high throttle, slam through the gears, and worry less about grinding. This makes it possible to drive more aggressively and shift harder, which is perfect for doing things like this. So having a good power to weight ratio is all well and good, but you need to be able to get that power to the ground. So what do they put in this sucker? A limited slip differential, or LSD. Freaking groovy, man. An LSD distributes power to the wheel with the most grip, maximizing traction in any scenario. So at the track, an LSD improves cornering ability by allowing the inside wheel to rotate faster than the outer wheel. Helpful since your outer wheels have to travel a longer path than the inner wheels during a turn. If your wheels rotate at the same speed, you're gonna get slippage, which have you sliding all over the place. Might be fun for drift, but not for going up Pikes Peak. And when you take the RX-3 off-road, an LSD helps improve handling as well. The LSD allocates power to the wheels, which reduces wheel spin to an unloaded or less loaded tire. So even if the two drive wheels are traveling over different surfaces, each will stay at the limit of grip, optimizing the vehicle's ability to accelerate and handle. We actually talked about this more in an episode we released a couple weeks ago. Check it out here. We got a whole catalog of videos. You can just learn and laugh, learn and laugh. A part of what makes this car so unique is that the tires were designed to play an active role in the suspension setup. You can take this car anywhere in large part because you can put nearly any tire on it, thanks to it having an open wheel suspension. Normally, if you want to put big knobby tires on your motor, you need to install a lift and rip out the fender flares to fit them, but you don't need to do that with an open wheel design. If you know how to turn a wrench, you can completely transform the vehicle's performance. With just 3 different tires, you can go from track to dunes to ice. Now on the track, you want wide tires that maximize the tire's footprint. For sand, bigger tires with aggressive treads will do the trick, and studded tires will get you across that slippery ice surface. Now another benefit of an open wheel suspension is that it gives the vehicle excellent balance. With the driver in a single seat, the center of mass of the vehicle is pretty similar to that of a mid-engine car. Most of the weight of the vehicle comes from the frame, the powertrain, and the driver, all which exist in a centralized location. The control arms, the wheels, the brakes, those are the only systems contributing weight to the periphery of the vehicle. But you might be thinking, hey, okay, you can put different wheels on there, but what about the suspension components themselves? Now, how is it possible that changing only the tires can effectively turn the RX-3 into 3 different cars? Well, the answer is compromise in your suspension. The designers of the Sierra RX-3 didn't set out to build a suspension that was perfect for every environment. They set out to create the best suspension that could transition between environments and transition with minimal effort. But it can get to about 80% of what either can do, and most importantly, can go between either setting with very little effort. Now, while you don't technically have to change anything to go between track and dirt in the RX-3 other than your tires, you can still make small changes to your suspension setup to maximize your performance. And you only need one tool to do it. So what makes the RX-3 so good on and off the road is that it has a lot of adjustability. For instance, we have this rear subframe right here. It's made out of billet aluminum, and these arms right here are adjustable so that you can control your camber on the rear wheels. Now inside right here, we have a toe adjustment. We have a sway bar right here, which is really, really cool. Now this sway bar is a torsion bar inside this sleeve. And a torsion bar, as you might have seen on Porsches, if you're a Porsche guy, that's the main weight-bearing spring in the suspension system. But what they have here is they use that as the sway bar. So they have two arms right here that also can be adjusted. You can then adjust this bar by taking it out and replacing it with a completely different spring rate torsion bar. So another way to change the stiffness of this sway bar is this slotted arm right here. So you can undo this linkage and shift it into each of these holes. This is in its softest setting, right here is in its stiffest setting, and it's on both sides. Right here we have trailing arms. So there's two adjustments for this trailing arms too. One is the vertical setting, which will change the pitch of the rear end of the car. And the second is this threaded rod right here, which can actually lengthen the wheelbase of the car. Pretty cool. Now up front, we have some adjustability as well. We got this same sway bar system with the torsion bar. Same exact principle. We can change that torsion bar and change the slot here. And we have adjustable A-arms. We did a whole episode where we talked about adjustable A-arms on the Catfish. If you want more info, you should freaking click right here. Get your Catfish on, man. This thing's like a catfish, baby. So all of that adjustability allows this car to be really good on asphalt and dirt. And we're about to get dirty. The RX-3 runs spring rates that are soft enough for dirt, and it has sway bars that are stiff enough for the track. The upper A-arms are adjustable with threaded caster and camber adjusters within, and roll center adjustment in the upper control arm. You can detach the sway bars completely for off-road performance using just a single wrench. Having sway bars on gives you better performance on the track. Taking them off, better performance on the dirt. Beyond being able to just take them on and off, the sway bars run a spline bar with adjustable ratio. There's 6 different sway bar settings going from soft to stiff, all controlled by the same single bolt you change if you were to disconnect it. So if you want to go from 30-inch off-road tires to 13-inch slicks and get the max result from either, all you need to do is just adjust the sway bar. Now, let's say you want to tune the car even more, get even more out of the Swiss Army knife of cars. Well, you get to keep all the same suspension components between environments. You don't have to change your shocks or your springs. However, by detaching one bolt off the front shocks, you can toggle between stiff and soft. The shocks were designed in tandem with Zebros, who are best known for making snowmobile suspension. They modified their existing suspension, perfect for dirt, and made some small tweaks that enhance the suspension's asphalt performance. The RX-3 has the potential for 12 inches of wheel travel, baby, from rear to front. 12 inches? Oh, no big deal. It has adjustable motion ratio, which means the rate in which the spring is compressed can be changed. This allows you to change the effectiveness of your springs without actually having to change the springs themselves. Pretty freaking cool. 3 points of motion ratio take the RX-3 from 8 to 10 to 12 inches of travel. Then you've got a two-way adjustable shock with both compression and rebound adjustment. You got a 2.5-inch shock in the rear and a 2-inch shock in front. All 4 are which equipped with external nitrogen-filled reservoirs. So the goal of the RX-3's designers was to keep the same suspension kinematics, how that suspension behaves in its range of motion across any surface that it might be traveling on. This means that the core components behind movement don't change, but the ratio at which the spring can change does. The RX-3 is able to conquer essentially any arena because it was designed to be able to conquer any arena. Add in a surplus of power and customizable suspension, and it's a combination that's hard to beat. So this answer makes sense on paper, But here at B2B, we thought that would be necessary to confirm this by doing a bit of field testing. So we took a few RX3s out for a spin and we ran a couple tests, you know, for science and all. Blew the tire off. I don't want to say I'm proud of that, but it's pretty cool. I don't know when I lost it though.
Hello?
Is this Cole?
Yeah.
Hey Cole, this is Jeremiah. I'm sorry, man.
I got a spare here.
Okay.
Bring the 4Runner back.
Okay.
Floor jack in and a spare tire, and we'll jack it up and put a new tire on.
Okay, cool. Sounds good. We'll be right there.
I'm running out of gas. I'm on empty.
Really?
Yeah.
In your 4Runner?
Yeah.
Oh, great. Beautiful. Thanks so much for watching this episode of B2B. If you want to see more content like this, leave a comment down below. Hit that like button and subscribe button. That really helps us out. We appreciate you guys. If you want your own RX3 from Sierra Cars, hit the link in the description below. And if you don't happen to have 50K just burn a hole in your pocket, Cole does rides in these, so you can pay 75 bucks or something and rip a couple laps, which I can guarantee you will be the most fun that you've ever had on four wheels. This was definitely one of the highlights of my auto driving career. So go check him out, support Cole, he's a good dude. Follow us on Instagram at Donut Media, follow me at Jeremiah Burton, and until next week. Bye for now.